Hello, and welcome back to Intelligent Pod, the podcast where we unravel the big questions shaping our world, one thoughtful conversation at a time. I'm your host, Sophie Lane, and today we're diving into a topic that touches just about every aspect of modern life, whether we're scrolling through social media, shopping online, or just asking our phone for directions. That's right, we're talking about the ethics of data privacy in the digital age. Now, I know data privacy might sound a little dry at first glance, but trust me, this is one of the most important and, frankly, fascinating issues of our time. In fact, how we handle our personal information online affects everything from our daily convenience to our basic rights as individuals. So whether you're a tech enthusiast, a concerned parent, or just someone trying to figure out what all those cookie pop-ups mean, stick with me. I promise you'll walk away with fresh insights and some practical tips you can use right away. Let's start by framing the issue. What do we really mean when we talk about data privacy? At its core, data privacy is about how our personal information, things like our names, addresses, browsing history, purchase habits, even our faces and voices, are collected, used, and shared by digital platforms and companies. It's about who has access to that information, what they do with it, and crucially, whether we have any say in the process. Here's a staggering statistic to kick us off. According to a 2023 Pew Research Center survey, 79% of Americans say they are concerned about how companies use the data they collect about them. That's nearly 4 out of 5 people, and yet so many of us click "I agree" to those terms and conditions without a second thought. Why is that? Well, it's complicated, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. Let's ground this in a relatable example. Imagine you're shopping for a new pair of shoes online. You check out a few styles, maybe even add a couple to your cart, but you don't actually make a purchase. Later, you're scrolling through your favorite social media app, and suddenly there are those same shoes staring back at you in an ad. It's like the internet read your mind. Or did it? And that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. Let's ground this in a relatable example. Imagine you're shopping for a new pair of shoes online. You check out a few styles, maybe even add a couple to your cart, but you don't actually make a purchase. Later, you're scrolling through your favorite social media app, and suddenly, there are those same shoes staring back at you in an ad. It's like the internet read your mind, or did it? Think about this. Where does the internet read your mind? Or did it? What's actually happening is a mix of sophisticated algorithms, cookies, and data tracking, designed to personalize your experience and, let's be honest, encourage you to buy those shoes. On the surface, this can be convenient. But dig a little deeper, and there are real questions about consent, transparency, and control. Let's explore a few different perspectives on the ethics of data privacy. First up, the psychological perspective. Human beings have an innate desire for privacy. We all need a sense of control over our personal boundaries, both offline and online. When we feel that our data is being collected without our knowledge or permission, it can trigger feelings of vulnerability or even paranoia. There's the infamous creepiness factor. Like when you talk about something with a friend, and then your phone seems to serve you an ad for it minutes later. A 2019 study published in the journal Nature Human Behavior found that people who perceived their personal data was being used without their consent reported higher levels of anxiety and distrust, not just in the companies collecting the data, but in the broader digital ecosystem. This erosion of trust can have real-world consequences, from reluctance to use certain apps to disengagement from digital platforms altogether. Now, let's look at the scientific and technological perspective. Companies argue that data collection enables innovation. By analyzing massive amounts of user data, tech firms can develop smarter products, improve user experiences, and even solve big societal problems. Think of personalized medicine, smarter city planning, or more efficient energy use. There's real potential here. But the ethical line gets blurry when data is collected in ways that are opaque or when it's used to manipulate behavior. Think targeted political ads or discriminatory algorithms. A great example here is the Cambridge Analytica scandal, where data from tens of millions of Facebook users was harvested without explicit consent and used to influence political campaigns. This wasn't just a violation of privacy. It was a wake-up call about the sheer power of data in shaping democratic processes. Now, the cultural perspective. Attitudes toward data privacy differ widely around the world. In Europe, strict regulations like the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, give individuals significant control over their data. You've probably seen all those manage your cookies pop-ups. That's GDPR in action. In contrast, in the US, data regulations are more fragmented, with different rules for different industries and states. Then there's the question of cultural norms. In some societies, sharing personal information is seen as a necessary trade-off for convenience or security. In others, privacy is a deeply held value, and any intrusion is viewed with suspicion. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, which makes the ethics of data privacy all the more complex. Let me share a real-life anecdote that really drives this home. A few years ago, a major retailer in the US made headlines when it used shopping data to predict and inadvertently reveal a teenage girl's pregnancy before she had told her family. The company's algorithms noticed changes in her purchase patterns, things like unscented lotion and vitamin supplements, and started sending her maternity-related ads. Her father found out, and, well, you can imagine the fallout. This story is often cited in discussions about data privacy because it shows just how much companies can infer about us from seemingly innocuous data, and how those inferences can cross deeply personal lines. So, where do we go from here? How do we, as individuals, navigate the ethical minefield of data privacy in the digital age? Here are a few actionable tips you can start using today. 1. Read the fine print, at least a little. I know, nobody wants to slog through pages of terms and conditions, but even a quick scan for key phrases like data sharing, third parties, or opt-out can give you a sense of what you're agreeing to. 2. Use privacy settings. Most apps and websites allow you to control what information you share. Take a few minutes to explore those settings and turn off anything you're not comfortable with. 3. Limit social media sharing. Think twice before posting personal details like your full birth date, location, or family members online. The less you share, the less there is to collect. 4. Be wary of public Wi-Fi. Free Wi-Fi is convenient, but it can also be a data goldmine for hackers. Avoid accessing sensitive accounts on public networks or use a VPN if you need to. 5. Advocate for transparency. Support companies and products that are upfront about their data practices. When possible, give feedback or ask questions. Your voice matters. 6. Stay informed. Laws and technologies are constantly evolving. Follow trusted news sources or privacy advocacy groups to keep up with the latest developments. Remember, data privacy isn't about going off the grid or becoming a digital hermit. It's about making informed choices, knowing your rights, and holding companies accountable for how they handle your information. To wrap up, let's circle back to our main idea. The ethics of data privacy in the digital age is a balancing act. On one side, there's the promise of convenience, innovation, and connection. On the other, there's the need for autonomy, consent, and dignity. We can't control every aspect of how our data is used, but we can demand transparency, set boundaries, and push for ethical standards that put people, not profits, first. It's about remembering that behind every data point is a real person with hopes, fears, and dreams. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the ethics of data privacy. If you found today's episode helpful, I'd love for you to leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. It helps new listeners discover Intelligent Pod and join our community of curious minds. Don't forget to check out intelligentpod.com for detailed show notes, links to studies and resources I mentioned, and a handy checklist to boost your own digital privacy. And of course, I always love hearing from you. Send your thoughts, questions, or feedback directly to me at sophie@intelligentpod.com. Until next time, I'm Sophie Lane, reminding you to stay curious, stay thoughtful, and always keep your data and your ethics close to heart. Take care, and see you soon on Intelligent Pod.